Three situations. A police officer stops you on the street and asks you to come to the station. You have not done anything wrong. A newspaper is told by the government to take down an article it published. A company refuses to hire someone because of their religion. In each of these situations, you have rights, specific, legally enforceable, constitutionally guaranteed rights. Rights that exist not because the government chose to give them to you. Rights that exist to protect you from the government. Most Indians do not know what these rights are. Not really. We memorized their names for an exam. We never learned what they mean. Today, all six. Plainly. Six rights. One important idea. In most legal systems, you have rights because a law grants them. Parliament passes a law. You get a right. Parliament repeals the law. The right disappears. Fundamental rights are different. They are written into the Constitution itself. To remove or change them, Parliament needs a constitutional amendment, a much higher bar than passing an ordinary law. And Parliament has used that power. The right to property, for example, was originally a fundamental right. It was removed by constitutional amendment in 1978. But in 1973, the Supreme Court drew a line. In a landmark case called Kesavananda Bharati versus State of Kerala, the court established what is now called the Basic Structure Doctrine. It said Parliament can amend the Constitution, but it cannot alter its basic structure. It cannot amend away the essential character of what the Constitution is. The core of your fundamental rights, the right to equality, the right to constitutional remedies, is considered part of that basic structure. Parliament cannot effectively destroy them, even through amendment. That boundary has held for over 50 years. The fundamental rights sit in Part 3 of the Constitution, Articles 12 to 35. And they do something specific. They tell the government what it cannot do to you, not what it will do for you, what it cannot do to you. That distinction is the whole point. Right 1. Right to equality. Articles 14 to 18. The state cannot discriminate against any citizen on the basis of religion, race, caste, sex, or place of birth. Equal protection of the law for everyone. Equal access to public places, shops, hotels, roads, wells, tanks. Equal opportunity in public employment. And Article 17, the one most people forget, abolishes untouchability. Not discourages it, abolishes it, makes practicing it a punishable offense. The Constitution did not just say everyone is equal, it named the specific inequality that had defined Indian society for centuries and said, this ends here. Right to freedom. Articles 19 to 22. This is the most expansive right and the most misunderstood. Article 19 gives you 6 freedoms. Freedom of speech and expression. Freedom to assemble peacefully. Freedom to form associations. Freedom to move freely across India. Freedom to reside anywhere in India. Freedom to practice any profession or trade. But here is what most people do not know. These freedoms come with what the Constitution calls reasonable restrictions. The government can limit your speech to protect national security, public order, or decency. It can restrict your movement during an emergency. Freedom is real, but not absolute. In 2015, the Supreme Court struck down Section 66A of the IT Act, which criminalized online speech deemed offensive. The court said it violated Article 19. One judgment. Millions of Indians protected. That is a fundamental right, working exactly as it was designed to. Then, Articles 20, 21, and 22. Protection from arbitrary arrest, the right to life and personal liberty, and the right to be informed of the reason for your arrest. We are dedicating an entire future episode to Article 21 alone. It is that important. Right 3. Right against exploitation. Articles 23 to 24. This one surprises people. The Constitution prohibits human trafficking. It prohibits forced labor, working someone against their will, or for less than a fair wage. And Article 24 prohibits the employment of children below the age of 14 in hazardous work. These rights exist because in 1950, bonded labor, child labor, and trafficking were realities for millions of Indians. The Constitution did not pretend otherwise. It addressed them directly. Right 4. Right to freedom of religion. Articles 25 to 28. Every citizen has the right to freely profess, practice, and propagate their religion. Religious groups can establish and manage their own institutions. This right has two sides: the individual's freedom to believe what they choose, and the state's obligation to stay out of it, not to promote any religion or force religion on anyone. Article 28 says no religious instruction can be given in government-funded educational institutions. The state has a religion. None. Right 5. Cultural and educational rights articles 29 to 30. Any group of citizens with a distinct language or culture has the right to conserve it, and minority communities, religious or linguistic, have the right to establish and administer their own educational institutions. This right was placed here deliberately. India's founders understood that a diverse country can only hold together if its minorities feel genuinely protected. Cultural rights are not a threat to unity. They are the foundation of it. Right 6. Right to constitutional remedies. Article 32. This one is different from all the others. The first 5 rights tell you what you are protected from. The 6th right tells you what you can do when those protections are violated. If any of your fundamental rights is violated by the government, by the state, by a public authority, you can go directly to the Supreme Court. Not a lower court, the Supreme Court itself. Dr. Ambedkar called Article 32 the heart and soul of the Constitution, because without it, the other 5 rights are just words on paper. A right you cannot enforce is not really a right at all. Article 32 is the reason ordinary Indians, farmers, students, journalists, prisoners, have been able to walk into the Supreme Court and challenge the most powerful institutions in the country and win. 6 rights: protecting you from discrimination, from arbitrary detention, from exploitation, from religious coercion, from cultural erasure, and giving you the legal tools to fight back when any of it happens. These are not textbook facts. They are usable tools. Most Indians do not know they have these tools. That is the problem this channel exists to solve. Knowing your rights is not just useful. It is the first requirement of living in a democracy. In the next episode, we step away from the Constitution for a moment. We look at something closer to daily life: civic sense, the unwritten rules that make a society function, why some countries have it and others struggle, what it actually takes to build it, and what India has but is not using. We, the people,